Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back. Today I'm just going to show you guys how to get the best armor in the game and basically just how to become a walking tank. Now I will show you just a couple of different variants with different armors, and that way you can sort of decide, make your own decision, and I'll just show you guys a few hints and tips that you may or may not already know. So I'll begin with the Ballistic Weave mod. Now this one escaped me at first, and if you're like me and you skip the dialogues quite frequently, you'll probably find that you miss this as well, because the game doesn't actually tell you you've unlocked this modification. It kind of invisibly unlocks when you talk to the right NPC. So in order to acquire the ability to use the Ballistic Weave mod, you will have to find the railroad. And if you haven't found the railroad already, I do have a guide on my channel that will just show you a few hints and tips on the way. And once you finally meet Desmona, you do a series of quests for her, maybe 3 or 4 quick easy quests, and then finally you will be able to talk to this robot right here, Pan. You will need to complete a couple of different quests until she gives you the jackpot quest, which is the one that you need. Once you finish the quest, you simply just go talk to Tinker Tom, which is this funny looking character right here. Now, just talking to him will open up this new modding ability. It's not obvious. The game doesn't tell you that you've got it. But if you go and travel to any armor workbench, and I'll show you with the military fatigues here, the Ballistic Weave Mark 5 gives you 110 defense. Okay, now that's just from one piece of clothing. I thought this was like a mistake from Bethesda, but this is legit, and only requires 3 different components. The first one, adhesive, can be found at the Diamond City Market through Mariner, or I don't even know how to pronounce the name. Second one can be found at Good Neighbor. Cleo, the robot vendor, he sells shipments of ballistic fiber. And last of all, at Bunker Hill, Debbie sells shipments of fiberglass, and these are the only 3 components you will need. You can modify a lot of different clothing. I use the trilby hat and the military fatigues, but it does work on a number of different clothing items. Now, if you want to try other clothing items, Becky Fallon in Fallons Basement sells all kinds of pre-war outfits. If you don't know where Fallons Basement is, just travel to Diamond City Market, and just down to the left here is, it's kind of like a hidden doorway. And I only say that because I probably walked past this place like 1,000 times before I actually found it. Now, I'll just show you guys the Devastators armor, which you can find in Good Neighbor. I think Cleo or Daisy sells it. And I'm only just showing you because the leg armor actually provides the best defensive value I've seen in any leg armor in the game, and the chest armor is quite good too. It's quite expensive, so alternatively you could shoot for just trying to acquire the heavy combat armor. Now these can be a bit harder to get, just mainly because unless a vendor is selling an item that is labeled heavy armor, you won't actually know what's heavy and what's sturdy and what's light. Okay, so the best way to do this is to actually look at the armor and compare its defense and weight value to maybe a sturdy piece that you might own or that a vendor might sell. Obviously, heavy armor is going to be heavier than sturdy armor and will also have better defense value. Now I'm explaining this because sometimes when you go to a vendor and you might see a sturdy combat armor right arm, but you have no idea whether it's light armor or sturdy or a heavy. Now compare these values and you should be able to find out which ones are. Now if you can't find any of these armor pieces, it could be to do with your level. So another alternative is to create your own level 3 workshop. Now you will need to be a level 2 cap collector and level 2 local leader. Now just simply go ahead and build an armor emporium in a settlement of your choice, and then just make sure you go ahead and assign a settler to the armor workshop. you would have a better chance of finding heavy combat armor with a level 4 workshop merchant. But I have a guide on my channel if you want to check that out. But this should be sufficient enough for now. And just remember, you can wait for a merchant to restock every 24 to 48 hours. So by now you should have a pretty decent armor setup. Okay, and as you can see here, even with the Devastators armor equipped, there's not a real big difference. However, there is a huge amount of defense value in both. However, if you want to go the extra mile, you can always try to obtain the Mark IV Synth Armor. Now, these will only be sold at a level 4 workshop merchant. Now, personally, I didn't buy it myself just because I don't really like the look of it. And even though it does offer the best defense values in any armor in the game, I just personally don't think it offered that much more that I would replace it with my heavy combat armor. But that's a decision that you guys can make, and don't take my word for it. Definitely check them both out, check them all out, and just see what you think. And last thing, and this is completely up to you guys if you want to exploit or not. This is not just a trick I use to basically max out my endurance stats, or special stats in this case. So you remember your special book from the very beginning of the game? You can, now I don't know if you found it, but if you didn't, you can find it back at the sanctuary at your old home before the war. And basically you can just duplicate it and just keep maxing out your stats individually. Now, if you don't know how to duplicate, I've left a link in the description below. And your stats should end up looking something like this. Don't forget to max out that Life Giver perk and the Adamantium Skeleton perk. Just to, maximize your endurance for your level. So I hope you found something useful there. And if you did, just make sure you hit that like button for me. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll hopefully see you next time.